Hey guys, Oliver from Rugby League and My Opinion here. Before I react to your bold predictions, I just wanted to give a shout out to Rugby League and Racing author Anthony Loxley, who was kind enough to send me out a free copy of his new book Tough Men Rugby League in the 80s. If you're a Rugby League book collector like myself, then you'll want to get your hands on a copy, as this book takes a look at the unsung heroes and moments of the decade that you won't hear from elsewhere. The book includes features from a variety of guest writers, including ARLC chairman Peter V'landys. To get your hands on a copy, head to www.fullthrottlepublishing.com.au. Okay, guys, now onto the predictions.
Okay, guys, to react to your predictions today, I'm joined by the lovely Cooper. How are you today, man?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, doing pretty good. So this video here is reacting to the Instagram bold predictions that you guys sent in on the story. I also put a post up on the Facebook page. So if you commented on the Facebook post, then please head over to Rugby League and My Opinion on Facebook. That video will be uploaded there. Also, guys, we're not revealing anyone's names or anything to save people getting upset. So yeah, basically, it's just sort of how do I put it? A lot of them were a bit repetitive. Some of them weren't bold at all, so they're not all in here. But I've basically just taken sort of the main idea of each bold prediction, and popped it down here. Some of them are quite specific, others, yeah. But anyway, you ready to get into it, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, so the first bold prediction: Knights to eliminate Para week 1 of the finals. I'm actually tipping this to happen as a Parramatta fan. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, it could 100% happen. Knights are kind of, I was going to say on a roll, but kind of barely got past Bulldogs last week. But Parramatta haven't been convincing at all, obviously. I think they lost 4 or 3 on the trot, scraped past the Cowboys. I think the scoreline doesn't kind of show how bad Parramatta actually were. You'd say 32-16. You'd think that'd be all right, but no, not really. We haven't got any Reid Marnie. I think, this won't matter in the finals. I think Joey Lassie got suspended today as well. I think the wheels are just falling off. We're just a bit tired. So, yeah, I could definitely see it happen. I'll probably still tip Parramatta in that first week, but I definitely won't be surprised if Newcastle win.
Alrighty, well, for the second bold prediction, the Storm to get knocked out in week 3 of the finals. I'm going to have to say no here. I think they're at least making the grand final.
Yeah, they'll 100% be in the grand final. And, I could eat my words, but I don't think Storm are going to lose a prelim, considering it'll probably be against... I guess it could be against a Manly, or a South Sydney, which could throw a little spanner in the works, but I think they're still too good for those two teams. You saw an underperforming Melbourne still beat a firing hot Manly side. So I think, Storm are going to be there.
Alrighty, how about this one? Manly to eliminate Penrith in the preliminary final. I'm personally tipping Penrith to make the grand final, but I feel like if a team does knock them off before then, it's going to be Manly. So it's a no, but it's not entirely out of the realms of possibility for me.
Yeah, well, I pretty much have the exact same answer. If anyone was going to beat them, it's probably Manly, in a prelim, that is. And look, it could happen, but I'm pretty much just going to give it away here. I do have a Melbourne Penrith grand final, so I don't think a Manly eliminate Penrith.
No, I agree with you there. But how about this one? So this one certainly isn't Manly eliminating Penrith. It's the Roosters to upset Manly in week 2 of the finals. I'd say this is less likely to happen than Manly beating Penrith in the third week of the finals. However, it's the Roosters. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, that's it. If anyone's going to kind of devise a plan to calm Tommy Turbo down, it's Trent Robinson. I mean, Craig Bellamy did it when Melbourne played the Sea Eagles. He did. Tommy still did his thing because he's always going to do his thing. But if you can minimize that, there's probably three coaches in the comp I would trust to do that. And that's Wayne Bennett, Trent Robinson, and Craig Bellamy. So, look, it's a chance. If you can calm Turbo down, you're every chance at winning the game. And I think the Roosters have shown, even with all the injuries, they're still a class side. I would still have Manly winning it, just because of how many injuries the Roosters have had. But if they win week 2, it's a credit to the side they are.
Yeah, well, we're sticking with the Manly theme again. Manly to win the comp. I'd say it's either. I feel like there's still that bit of a divide between Melbourne and Penrith, especially now that Penrith are getting their troops back and they're looking good.
Yep.
But Manly would be that third team for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, quick answer. I don't think they will. I'm just kind of trying to think where Manly kind of stand with me, because it's Melbourne, Penrith. Those are the first two, and it's just whether I have South Sydney above Manly. I think South Sydney showed when they played Penrith that they were really good. There were a few 50-50 calls that didn't go their way, but I think Penrith still win that game, even if the 50-50 calls go South Sydney way. But that loss that they had I'm more confident in South Sydney as a team after they lost against Penrith than I was before they played Penrith. So, yeah, you can toss and turn with Manly and South on who's 3 and 4. At the moment, I'd probably have South Sydney at 3 and then Manly at 4. Not on the ladder, I mean in like power rankings. Yep.
Yeah, well, it's funny you bring that up in your answer, because the next bold prediction is that South Sydney are going to win the comp. Well, they're the 4th for me. They're behind Manly for me personally. I guess we could say sort of the same answer to your Manly question. You've got South sort of that third team there.
Yeah.
Okay. This one's interesting. Sharks to make week 2 of the finals. That would mean
the Roosters probably.
Yeah, that would mean the Titans miss the top 8, which I don't like. But it would mean, they most likely finish 8th. Then you'd have to think they verse the Roosters in week 1 of the finals. So they'd have to beat the Roosters. And then in week 2 of the finals, they would verse the loser of Melbourne Manly. Yeah,
well, they're a chance. I mean, the Broncos, who they play this week on Saturday, have been in some really good form. And, I mean, you can say the same about Cronulla. I know the Tigers haven't been great this season, but they did put 50 on them. They also did concede 22. So there's that. But if they can beat the Broncos, who the Titans playing, they're playing the Knights, who have been in some decent form. I say that with a grain of salt because they did struggle with the Bulldogs. And then in round 25, the Titans have to get past the Warriors, who have been their bogey team for years now. And Cronulla are playing Melbourne, who I feel like may rest a lot of their players, considering they've got the minor premiership wrapped up. What's the point of playing them round 25? They did it last year against St. George. They rested all their main players, and St. George ended up winning that game. So I can see Cronulla getting that 8th spot. But even if they do, I don't have them beating the Roosters.
Yeah, I hope Melbourne don't rest everyone in that game. In fact, In fact, I hope Melbourne win.
Yeah, well, honestly, Melbourne could rest their main players and probably still win. It just depends. If they rest, I don't know, a Munster and maybe, I don't really know. As long as if they rest some of their few main players, you'd give the Sharks a chance. But yeah, it's also just if the Titans can get past the Warriors. I think they'll beat the Knights this week. I don't know about the Warriors. Now, the Knights are a better team than the Warriors, but bogey teams are a real thing, and Titans have always struggled with the Warriors.
Yeah, I sort of see it as a Titans fan. We've got 2 games left. We could make our first final series in 5 years. We've got to beat the team who only beat the Bulldogs by 6 points, and then beat the team who couldn't beat Brisbane. Surely we can do it. That's the mindset of it. Surely we can do it.
Well, surely Knights have got that 7th place locked up. Surely just let the Titans sneak in. Just rest the whole team.
Yeah, go on. And Melbourne field a full strength team against Cronulla.
Yeah.
Well, you thought that one was bold, Coot. How about this one? The Raiders to not only make the finals, but make the preliminary final, week 3. I've unfortunately got to say a no to that one.
No. Well, they play the Warriors this week and then play the Roosters. So where are they sitting on the ladder? I know they're in the fight.
I think they're 10th.
Yeah, they're 10th. They've tied with the Titans, but have a differential of about 40 different. So, yeah, I don't think the Raiders sneak in, honestly. I think the Roosters will flog them in the last round. So, not flog them, but 13 plus.
Yeah, well, this is also coming from someone who tipped Canberra to win the comp at the start of the season, quite embarrassingly so. Here's an interesting one. Manly v Souths in the grand final. So they're likely going to finish 3rd and 4th. So for that to happen, basically they could both lose in the first week of the finals, win in the second week, win in the prelim, which would mean likely beating Penrith and Melbourne and then meeting in the grand final, or they both win in the first round of the final, so beating a Melbourne and a Penrith in the first week, and then winning in the prelim and versing in the grand final there. So that's how realistically this matchup would occur. I don't see either of these happening because in both scenarios, these two teams need to beat a Melbourne and a Penrith. And I don't think both's going to happen. I don't think so.
I think whoever comes up against Penrith, I'll give them a chance. I don't think they'll win, but I'll give them a chance. Whichever team, who would it be? It'd be South. If they both lost the first week of the finals and then won the second week, how does it work again? Who would play?
Okay, so at the moment, it's looking like Melbourne will versus Manly in the first week, and Penrith will versus Souths in the first week. If, let's say, Melbourne and Penrith win those games, Souths and Manly go on to an elimination final. And then, if they both win that, Manly will then versus Penrith, and Souths and New Zealand versus Melbourne.
Well, I'll give Manly a chance, but sorry, Souths, I don't think winning unless you can win that first week of the finals against Penrith, but I don't think anyone's beaten Melbourne in a prelim.
Then the problem becomes if Souths do, for this to happen, right? For Manly v Souths to happen, if South Sydney do beat Penrith in the first week of the finals, then they would have to verse Melbourne in the prelim. So it's inevitable for them to face Melbourne if we're talking Manly versus Souths in the grand final. If you're talking Souths making the grand final and not necessarily versing Manly, then it's possible for them to verse a Melbourne in the grand final. But for this to happen, Souths have to verse Melbourne at some point. Okay, now for the final Instagram prediction. You'll like this one, or maybe not, because I don't think you'll agree with it. Eels to win the comp.
No, there's absolutely no chance. I think they're out to $51 on Sportsbet. Gamble responsibly, by the way, everyone. But that's it's crazy to think. I think they got as short price as $8 at some point, or it was something around there, and now they're out to $51. As an Eels fan, I want nothing more. But this isn't the year.
No, okay, well, I'm going to have to agree there, guys. It's not Parramatta's year. It'd have to be some kind of journey. And I think we got to remember, with any team who finishes 5th to 8th, we've not had a team win the comp from outside the top 4 since 1995. So it would be a gargantuan effort to be able to do. But other than that, guys, thank you for joining us. Hopefully we weren't too harsh on your predictions. If you have any different opinions on the predictions that we've brought up today, let us know in the comments below. But other than that, thanks for joining me, Q, for these predictions. We better go film the Facebook ones.
Yeah.